Hi everyone and welcome to this brand new episode of your show, The Untold. My name is Daij Al-Hoteri with my colleague Hibal Gahtani. How are you doing today?
Well, we're doing great. And today's episode, I'm very sure you're going to be very excited.
Oh, I am pretty excited because we're about to talk about the video game scene and the esports and tournaments and all the video game stuff. So it's going to be an interesting topic today.
Yes, indeed. And I'm very sure everyone is really excited, especially when we're talking more about a woman that competed.
You're going to be excited in this part.
Yes, indeed. And most of the women who are going to watch us today are going to also be excited because today's guest is going to be very interesting. She is more of a person who plays Tekken, and, you know, having esports is something very beautiful, but at the same time, challenging a woman world, and she proved herself.
Yep. So stay with us, dear viewers. We will meet Awdhah AlShallahi. Welcome back to the studio, dear viewers, and right now we would like to welcome, of course, our dear guest Awdhah to our studio. Welcome and congrats on the winning. Basically, I'm hyped, I'm excited, knowing your achievements and what you have accomplished during these years. And of course, I'm interested in this part, by the way, because I'm a gamer. So yes, we share a lot in common. I haven't competed in the esport, but we will get to talk more about this with our guest here today. So yes, you can go ahead and tell us a brief about you before we begin.
Yes, first of all, thank you for having me. My name is Awdhah AlShallahi. I competed and thankfully won at the Arab League of Tekken 8, the women's edition, in Riyadh for this year.
So that was recently?
Yes, it's very recent.
Yes.
Congrats.
So it's really amazing to see that, and for it to happen, I'm very sure it adds really great points, especially for the Tekken community. Talking more about Kuwaiti today women, the one who's really into, let's say, gaming and participating, and this is something very beautiful to be said. But let's start from the early beginnings, knowing more about you and specific details. Like, how did you find yourself with Tekken? Like, did it happen by coincidence? Having siblings that play games and so on?
Exactly. So my start with Tekken, it began when I was probably 6 years old, 5 years old. You know,
so Tekken 1, Tekken 2.
Tekken 1, Tekken, yeah.
Yeah.
We had, like, my father came and just gave us the Sony one and throw in a bunch of games.
Yeah.
I saw Tekken and I picked it up. And I started playing.
Definitely, I guess this could be anyone's favorite because
Exactly.
you have siblings?
Yes.
All right, so you guys used to play against each other?
we used to play against each other. And I
This
always
is where the
won.
fun begins.
Yeah.
You always won?
Yeah, I always beat them up.
I always smash buttons and I lose.
Aw.
Sometimes. I hate fighting games,
Unfortunately.
but it takes skill.
I mean, it's to me, it's always with the first step. Like, once you have that
the
first
first hit?
hit, then that's it. You're gonna always win.
But you know, there's a strategy against
I
people
know,
who
it's just one
smash.
strategy. Like, I used to do it a lot with my brother, but yeah.
It worked. If it works, it works.
Yeah.
Well, now let's talk about how do you feel winning and being the first in the female tournament.
You know, it's my first time actually competing outside of Kuwait. I competed in a few couple of tournaments here for Tekken 8 in Kuwait. Never got any high ranks.
Sorry to cut you off, but in Kuwait we have it like all mixed together. Like
Yes, all mixed together. But when I saw the opportunity to compete, I didn't mind playing in open tournaments. But I had the opportunity to compete and represent Kuwait in Riyadh. They did, a qualifiers stage, like a small tournament to
Qualify people to
to
continue.
qualify
Yes.
people to compete outside. It was my first time and I won it as well.
Oh.
And everyone was like, you have to go, you have to go. No one else is going, you have to go.
Okay. So you're the only one?
Yeah,
You won? Okay.
yeah, the only one who won. And then when I went there, I never thought I could actually win. But alhamdulillah, I did my homework. I practiced a lot. My passion for this game is very big. I wanted to come back with the win.
Alhamdulillah. And of course, we hope the best for you, and like we get to see you compete more and more and achieve and get the first place in all the upcoming tournaments in Kuwait and outside. But for now, I want to get to know. Yeah, I mean, I know from you that you played Tekken from a young age, right? But what inspired you to compete in this game specifically?
I'd say there is a match I've seen in 2018 actually. It's in Tekken World Tour. Two Korean players, and they are like my favorite players of all time.
So both of them your favorite, and they
And they
competed?
were competing for the final, the grand finals. It was a historical match up to the last point. And one of them won. When I saw that, I was like, I had to take the game seriously. I can do it. I can be as good as them, inshallah.
Inshallah.
From that point and onward, I was like actually taking the game seriously and trying to compete as much as I can in tournaments.
That's very nice.
Interesting is because both of them were your favorite, and
Yes.
it's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Whether
Whoever wins. Yeah.
I'm with them.
Exactly.
So it's very beautiful to see that kind of spirit, and I'm very sure it also was very beautiful when you participated in Saudi Arabia specifically. Talking more about how you felt when you saw all of the competitors being there and feeling that kind of urge of winning, and I'm going to present my country, and at the same time, it's something that I'm doing it for the first time. So all of these pressures are all in one place, in one moment, and once the game just switched on, it was the fight that you were fighting for. So tell us about these kind of mixed emotions you had.
When I came into the stage, not the stage, like the arena itself, and I saw the other countries and the t-shirts and stuff,
Yes.
and I was like, okay, I'm actually here and I'm gonna compete. I'm gonna compete for the win.
It feels different.
Yeah, it's very different. And when I finished my group stage, the other matches for the finals and grand finals, they were on stage, streamed for everyone, and there is a crowd and everything. When they called my name to actually go out and play,
Panic moment.
a panic moment. And you can see it actually in my gameplay.
Yeah.
It's so horrible for the first 2 rounds. And everyone from friends and family, they thought I was gonna lose. So yeah, like nerves in tournaments, especially in front of cameras when you're playing, it's really hard to manage. I'm still
Especially
struggling
when
with
they're calling your name in the mic,
Yeah.
and you feel
And
like there's
everything
an
is on my
echo.
shoulder.
Like
Yeah.
it's an echo. Is that my name? Like, is that me?
Do I have to actually go and play now? Can I cancel?
But I guess
yeah.
well, this is maybe because it's your first time.
First
maybe,
time,
yeah,
yeah,
with more
exactly.
competitions and more.
I'll get used to
Yes,
it, inshallah.
yes.
Yeah.
All right, so obviously the competition or the tournament featured more than 18 countries, right?
Yes.
Arab countries.
Yes.
So how did you actually prepare yourself to face the players,
The
diverse
diverse
players?
players. I tried as much as possible because no one was playing casuals with me before. Everyone wanted to keep their technique to themselves, which is understandable, of course. Everyone wants to win. But I had an idea who يعني the players.
Knowing more. Of
Yeah, they're gonna pick like the top 5 characters, of course. Whoever wants to win a tournament, they're gonna pick the best characters. So my job was before I went to the tournament, I practiced these characters.
To know
And
their
Michelle-
weaknesses.
Yeah, exactly. To know their weaknesses, I had to play against them and counter play them. And alhamdulillah, exactly the characters I practiced, they played with them.
What's your favorite character?
My favorite character? It's not the character I'm playing.
Oh, okay.
For Tekken 8, it's Reina. It's a new character.
All right.
Yeah. All the other Tekken series, I'd say Asuka. I also don't play her.
I'm
I play a
trying
very-
to remember the names, but I will know the face,
The face, yeah.
character.
They're very iconic.
But I used to play the one with the tiger. The King. His name is King.
Yes,
That was my
yes.
favorite.
The grappling character.
Yeah, that was my.
But I've seen a lot of people who like to play with Marshall, I guess. Is that-
Marshall,
yeah.
yes.
And I
You know the
always,
characters too?
She's a gamer.
but
What's a gamer?
but mine is really cliche. Like I only liked like Chloe, and that's it. Like that's the character, the meow character, and that's it. And like even my brother, like every time we discuss it, like I think she was only in the first ticket, and then that's it.
Tekken 7, only
Because,
Tekken
yes,
7,
and he was
sadly.
like, and why are you, let's say, stuck to it? I was like, I don't know, I just felt connected to that kind of character. But you know, these characters, I believe, they weren't, let's say, just made for let's say a figure reason, but somehow you feel like connected to
You're
them in a
connected.
way,
There's
like
a connection.
especially when we're talking more about martial character. Lots of people who are really soft and nice do love this character, which is really terrifying, because when I see a martial character, I'm like, I'll never pick him as a
think
He's
character.
so scary.
I think of Bruce Lee.
Exactly. Yeah, he's very
See?
inspired
Yeah,
by.
we call him Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting at the same time. So choosing a character, as you said, could be something, let's say, related to a person taste. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you just sit together, you're taking gamers and players, and once this topic, like my character has
Yeah,
to be
that's
the
my-
best character. That's it. No one can win. So do you believe that thing does actually happen when it comes into being in a tournament? Like sometimes you're really committed into a certain character, but when it's a tournament, you have to choose the best and so on.
Exactly, and it happened actually a lot in other tournaments. You know, people go with their favorite characters and they're used to playing it. But when they start losing in a tournament, let's say in a set of best of 5 or something, they have to switch to the best characters ever, because
Yeah.
there's money on the line.
And you know what? This is when you prove your friend that, see, that
Yes.
character made you win.
It's carrying
That's
you.
why.
That character is carrying you. Yeah, but sometimes it depends on the player, يعني himself.
The player, his technique,
Yeah,
his
if
patience.
the player is very good, they can pick
Any character.
a mid character, and they can make it.
And as far as I know, these games, it's not like you fighting an NPC, an unplayable character. It's
Exactly.
whenever every time you face, you play against a new, opponent. He have his, he has his his different technique, a way of playing. Even if he plays the same character, but it's always different. It's not like playing against an NPC. So basically, it takes a lot of skill, and you have to know how to counter them. You have to practice against them. And I guess
Exactly.
one important part of those who join tournaments, they watch videos of the people who they play against.
Yes.
Do you do
Yes,
that?
I did that a lot.
Yeah, so
Every
that
time.
you can predict how they're gonna respond to
Yeah, what's their strategy? What's their
Strategy.
play style? Yeah. we
So
did- we
you
did.
did.
Oh yeah, I did that.
You did your
She did
homework.
her
as
homework.
well.
I did my homework.
Yeah.
Even in the hotel. After the first day, for the second day, I just sat there and watched the replay again, just to prepare myself.
Well, it's very interesting because people wouldn't, especially the ones who are really not into electronic games, let's say, people wouldn't, let's say, understand that kind of sense of, let's say, it's not just a video game that you actually play with, but it's actually more of a theme that you actually could study the movements and everything in that
Exactly.
specific details. Because to us, especially the ones who doesn't play, or let's say use it just more of a hobby in that kind of sense,
Yeah.
you see the PlayStation itself and the set itself, and you wouldn't understand what's happening, and you just go randomly with the
Don't know
X and A and stuff like that, and go back and forward and so on. So this is when it happens that the technique really matters in a way of a sense of developing yourself in that matter. So we've seen so many people who get really frustrated, especially when you're sitting in the set in a specific time, and then you reach to a point, well, that's it, I can't do it anymore. So tell us about that kind of sense of feeling that you actually face, especially during that kind of pressure.
During the camp. Okay, I'll give you a little brief about how Tekken 8 is played. They call it the hardest fighting game in the world. Imagine they have over 30 characters, and each character will probably have over 100 moves.
So you have to
So I'm gonna have to
memorize the whole moves.
study. I have to know how to punish them when they do. I have to know the frames of these. It's like it's. I'm
It's not that
studying.
easy,
I'm not
yes.
just. I'm not just playing. I'm studying.
It's
for
like
this
you're
game.
studying coding, for instance.
Exactly.
Like,
It's like I'm coding.
how to make him, let's say, do that kind of
If
movement.
that, I have to do this.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So
It's really difficult.
yeah, it's really difficult. Actually, even practicing for the game can be frustrating, as you said. Yeah, it's frustrating when I practice, but when I actually go into tournaments and lose a couple of matches, I don't let it wear me down. It's fine. Here, what sets me apart, I'd say, from other players, I learn from my mistakes. A good player always learns
This is
from
the right
their
thing.
mistakes. Yeah, a better player learns mid-game, in the middle of the game.
During the game.
Yeah, they have to adapt.
Yeah,
The person who can adapt mid-game, amazing.
that's a pro level.
Yeah, that's very
Hopefully you get to
Inshallah.
reach that. Yes, in the
Inshallah.
future. All right. So for now, dear viewers, let's take this really quick break before we continue this episode. Stay with us. Welcome back, dear viewers, to the studio, and of course, welcome back with I would call you a professional gamer now, so pro Awdhah. So basically, you mentioned previously before the break that you know you have favorite Korean players, right? So this brings us to this question: where do you have actually a specific athlete, esport player who is your favorite and who inspired you actually to play and compete and all these kind of things?
I'd say mostly in Tekken 8, the Tekken 8 game. Two Korean players, JDCR and D, and they are legends in this game.
Are they the same ones that they
Yeah,
competed?
the
Okay.
two in the games.
So
Yeah.
that's them.
They're legends since I think they've been playing since Tekken 4 or 5.
That's a long time.
Yeah, they're very old, but they have.
They're committed to the game.
Yeah,
they love it. That's why they got.
And even when
really
the
good.
game changes, Tekken 7 is very different from Tekken 8. Tekken 7 was mostly a defensive game. Tekken 8 is an aggressive game. So they had to adapt and change their playstyle. And that I found very, very inspiring. They're my favorite. I saw them there in Riyadh, but
Nice.
I was too shy to take a picture.
Oh, at least you saw them.
I saw them.
You captured them on
This is the first
in your
step.
heart.
And my
This is
heart.
the first step for you to be, let's say, closer to your goals in the future. But talking more about the competition and participating, I'm very sure you've been associated with different women who participated with you. And that kind of socializing could make the community more, let's say, grow more, especially to, let's say, your own community. So tell us more about that kind of experience where you started to exchange that kind of, let's say, social networking, let's say, in a matter of sense. Like, have you been associated with any kind of members who participated in the competition?
Yes. At first, I'm not into social media at all. I only keep up with the pro players. Let's say a little bit of them here in Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. They have a very big scene in Tekken 8.
And nowadays, it's growing in Saudi
yeah,
Arabia.
it's growing very, very quickly. But one thing I really loved when I competed there, even if the sportsmanship was was lovely to see. Even the girls that I played against, everyone was rooting for me, even when when I won against them.
Oh,
Yeah.
No one was like,
that's sweet.
yeah, no one was like,
Oh, she won. I
she
have
won.
to, yeah.
It's not fair, and that's no. Everyone, we exchanged numbers, we exchanged Insta accounts and stuff. Everyone wanted to practice with me later.
Yeah.
Inshallah. And
I mean, this is really amazing because
Yeah.
this is a kind of an opportunity even for you to grow when it comes into your skills in the game.
Exactly.
Like, you're not only competing, let's say, or practicing with anyone, but you're competing with players who really high, let's say, position with you that you're trying to reach to above the level.
Yeah.
So together, you're going to grow into a better, let's
Exactly.
say, level in the game. So that.
Yeah, the best way actually to get to the next level in competing, you have to have a partner, even either on your level or you're above you just a little bit, and just play very long hours. This is how you're gonna practice, and they're gonna practice. Everyone
Definitely, yeah,
winning.
definitely, yes. Having someone who, I think I prefer upper level because I'm gonna learn more from them.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, it needs a lot of time to practice.
Yeah.
Thus, this also brings us to this question: where how many hours a day you practice
I
beforehand?
knew this question was coming. I'd say probably max 3 hours, because it's hard to balance work and gaming. But I try.
That's just for TV, right? Behind the scenes.
Maybe more.
I admit it. One time I said, but that was way back. I was 16, something like so. It was in school. It was a long break, so I played for a 21 hours straight.
No sleep.
A game. Yeah, no sleep. 21 hours. That's bad. Don't do that.
Please
Never
don't
do that. It was bad.
And I wonder sometimes, why does he come to work really, let's say, sometimes
That
down?
was. I mean, I still play, but not as. I mean, 2 to 3
Yeah.
hours. That's more than enough.
Yeah.
But through gaming, you get to learn, get to know more people, get to learn more about the different cultures. Some games have different, storylines related to a specific country or whatsoever, and also the players that you get to meet from different countries, and you get to grow more friendship and knowledge from wherever they are. So basically, one thing regarding Tekken, I dislike. It's that I mean, some games they have updates.
Yeah.
It's balance updates. They call them patches.
Yeah.
So let's say Marshall is stronger than the others, obviously for everyone, and he's the meta. So everyone plays Marshall.
Right.
Most likely in the these games which have installments like Tekken 1, 2, 3, 8, 7, we don't get to see these patches a lot. So the balance between characters is most likely it's not correct, right? So unlike the games which, let's say World of Warcraft, it's a game that have we have weekly patch updates that balance the game. So if you join the tournaments, I joined tournaments, by the way, in online tournaments for the World of Warcraft game. So these games have weekly patches, updates to balance the game. However, when it comes to Tekken, I don't think so, right? So how
not
do you,
as frequent, I'd say.
not
There
as
are patches,
frequent.
but yeah, not
How
as,
do you guys react to that?
for me,
Because you mentioned you guys have 10 characters that are most played, right?
Yeah.
Because they're OP, overpowered.
in every
and
tournament, you're always gonna see a mirror match between the same character.
See, this is so. How do you guys react to that?
For me, because it's a different approach. Tekken 8 is very different from Tekken 7. It's a new approach. I'd say I'm gonna be fair and give them a chance to
So I mean,
make it optimize the
of course, definitely, this is what we hope for.
yeah.
As
I understand
player.
it. Yeah. As a player, it's a little frustrating, but as I mentioned before, it's up to the player. I can still pick a very a low tier character, and if I'm good, I have a good strategy, I have a good mindset, I can still outsmart the opponent and win. But yeah, it's favored to the top 5
Definitely,
characters.
the S tier. We have tiers.
It's in every fighting game.
In every game.
Yeah.
So they put actually a video. They make a video of like, this is even articles.
Yeah.
This is an S tier character.
number
This
one
is A, B, and then you have to
Have a
pick
list, yeah.
the S tier so that
For
you can
tournaments,
compete and you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I think maybe it's more of a way for everyone to maybe, let's say, go out of the ordinary and just pick any kind of random character. And as you just said and highlighted, could let's say prove that this character could, let's say, be leveled up to a certain, let's say, level. But one of the things I already want to ask you is, since I have a sibling and he's a gamer too, one of the incidents that happened is that siblings never ever understand that kind of private time that they have, especially when they're playing a game. So it's always me opening the door and he's looking at me in that kind of straight look that don't speak because I'm playing a game with my friends and you're gonna interfere. So that kind of sense of moment is really, let's say, integrating, especially when it comes into, let's say, having that kind of private time for you to practice or, let's say, to play the game itself. So tell us about these kind of movement and how do you adjust it with your family? Do they end up being like me opening the door suddenly? And just to ask for, let's say, maybe where is the charger, for instance? This is what I normally do.
Yeah. The nice thing, at home, everyone is a gamer. Everyone is playing, so everyone is expected to be in the room and playing and everything. And when you spoke about your brother, I actually play with my brother competitively. He plays also Tekken 8. He went with me.
Nice.
To Riyadh,
Nice.
yeah. And when he actually saw me win, he's like, I'm gonna have to do better. I'm going with you. I'm actually
So
competing.
you inspired him to do better.
It's a very nice feeling to be inspiring to a lot of, especially the women here in Kuwait.
Because we do have women play and they
We
kind
have
of,
a
let's
lot.
say,
We have a lot.
But you participating and having that medal and the competition itself could actually raise that kind of awareness that we can actually be part of it.
Yeah.
And mashallah, women, especially in Kuwait, are entering so many great fields and getting these kind of great positions. So it's really something to be proud of and something to encourage the youth today. Because it's not just about spending your time and not, let's say, because lots of people would say that if you're a gamer, that means that you're antisocial, you don't like to socialize with people.
That's
But
incorrect.
it's a very beautiful community if you go and delve into it, because you actually meeting people, whether it's in the game set, whether, let's say, it's even aboard the game set itself. So it's more of a way that people start to understand it more in a way and to encourage them to actually be part of something very beautiful and great.
Yes,
Definitely.
exactly.
And speaking of the medal, can we get to see that and we
Nice.
show it to the camera? And one thing that you mentioned, and I have to admit, we played. That's a very nice Arab Esport League. Congrats on that.
Thank you so much.
Take a look at it. So basically, I played against a lot of women, and at first, if they won, we'll feel bad, but then we kind of think now it's very okay for them to play, to compete, and to be better than us. I promise you, we played a lot, hundreds of games, thousands of games against a woman, and they can play video games. It's that stereotype that
Yeah, that's
only
what
boys.
I
No, that's
don't
that's
like it,
incorrect.
yeah.
It's a very beautiful world, a huge community. Whether it's fighting games, shooting games, you can see them there. They can play. They don't only play cooking games, the mini games. No, not only the mobile phone games. No, basically everyone can compete and anticipate in these competitions. But now I have this question regarding you. Now you played Tekken and competed in Tekken. There are different games in terms of the same genre, the fighting games. We got Mortal Kombat, we got Street Fighter. This is a very, I think maybe Street Fighter is way more known to the world and to the public in terms of the fighting game. So why don't you, have you thought of switching, playing something else?
Yeah.
Because it's the same technique but different characters. So have you thought about trying out?
Actually, before I played Tekken 7 competitively, I used to play Mortal Kombat X. I competed in a little
many competitions.
Yeah, competitions here in Kuwait, nothing outside. And then I transitioned into, I'm not sure if you're gonna consider this a fighting game, Super Smash Bros.
It is.
It is,
I
right?
love this game.
Good. So it's not a party game. It's
what makes it different, because usually these games are like one-on-one, but the Super Smash, you can have like 8
up to 8.
up to 8. So it's a fun game.
I competed in that also, tournaments here in Kuwait. But then I stopped playing fighting games in general until Tekken 8
so
came
it brought
here
back the spirit.
Yeah, it brought back, because it's very different from Tekken 7. So it gave me the motivation to start.
And also I think the community
new.
and
Here in Kuwait, mashallah, they're very supportive.
So if I decided to be a pro player, do I have to have a coach, or do I have to have someone who can play with me, or is it okay to be a solo player and I learn by myself to watch videos and
I'd say it's a mix of all these things. But I'll focus on having a friend that's better than you and play long sets, because they're gonna be available most of the time, I'd say, if you ask them to play. But coaches, maybe if you later
a friend can be a coach. I'm
exactly.
not saying that you need a specific coach.
And of course, you're gonna have to do your own homework.
Taking esport to a different level. Coaching.
Esport is
it's
something else.
It's
yes, they have. Do you know that they sell services actually for coaching, for
exactly.
boosting? But this is not.
Boosting is a different story.
This is something else. Don't do that. But coaching is something. You can find websites that have people actually committed to look at your games.
Yes.
They let you stream and then watch you play and then tell you what to not to do and what to do. So basically, yes, they do these analysis, and it's a huge world. The community is growing and it's just thriving.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess with that being said, dear viewers, we have reached the end of this interview. So let's take this quick break before we wrap the episode. All right, we reached the end of this episode, dear viewers, so we hope that you enjoyed it. What do you think?
Well, to be honest, hopefully everyone today, especially who is watching us, to think about, let's say, this field. And this is something very beautiful, to have competitions and competing, and to keep it more of a positive, let's say, environment and vibe. Because in the end, this is something, a very beautiful community being presented in that matter.
Yes, and the gaming industry is growing day by day. Prizes, tournaments, and, lots of fun. So, yes, but make sure to enjoy your time. Play some video games maybe in your free time, and best of luck if you are competing in those tournaments. So, yep, that's the end. We hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe, and we hope to see you again in another episode of The Untold. Goodbye.